So in today's video, we're gonna cover the best strategies to run Facebook ads in 2025, the campaign structure that I'm currently using to run ads. And you guys can just go ahead and essentially copy and paste my old strategy, exactly what I'm doing, so you can hopefully also have good results for your clients and media buyers. And if you wonder why you should listen to me, despite having my kitchen in the background, is because I spent over 3 million in paid ads, especially on Meta ads. I've been doing this for almost 4 years at this point, so I would say I'm quite familiar with like the platform and the overall best practice that, they tend to change month to month. And nowadays there is like a new structure to actually run ads. So I want to go inside the ads manager and really show you how to do it. And as you can see, for example, in this ad account, the last 30 days, I spent 28,000 euros, which is roughly $30,000, $32,000 with this same strategy that I'm going to show you now. So you guys can just go ahead and essentially copy and paste it. So what is this strategy? Well, if you guys are up to date when it comes to Facebook ads, you know that nowadays most of the heavy lifting is done by the machine. Meaning that we as advertisers don't have really to do a lot of like targeting option, lookalikes or interest base. We just need to focus on the creatives. That's singularly the most important element in our own campaign. And so that's where you should actually spend most of the time. So if you go inside the Ads Manager here, I'm going to show you exactly the structure that I'm currently running to running Facebook ads, and it's surprisingly simple. And this is because most of my time, obviously, is spent outside the Ads Manager trying to identify different marketing angles, different hooks, pain and desires of my audience, which then I transform into ads that I run on Facebook. But all right, let's go inside the Ads Manager and let's see essentially what is the campaign structure that I'm currently running. And so obviously, if you're running lead generation, you're gonna click lead. If you're on e-commerce, you're gonna do sales. In this case, I'm just gonna go ahead with e-commerce. I'm gonna click continue. I'm gonna make sure that I select manual sales campaign and not advantage shopping campaign. I'm gonna give my campaign a name. In this case, can be CBO prospecting. I'm gonna scroll down. I'm gonna make sure that advantage catalog is switched off, and I'm gonna scroll down and make sure that advantage campaign budget is switched on. And here, I'm just gonna place a daily budget. For example, it can be 100 euros per day. That's obviously kind of depends on you. I would not suggest to go any lower than 50, simply because in my opinion, it doesn't make sense. I'll already start with 100. Obviously, that's up to you. And if I have an engaged audience, all I have to do really is just click essentially the audience segment, and I'm gonna be ready to a new page where in here I can decide which custom audience I'm using. And so engaged audience, this is usually your view content last 30 days. And for existing customers, this can be your purchase pixel or your CSV file that you have downloaded from Shopify. But let's get back inside Ads Manager here. So I'm gonna now go into the ad set level, and here I'm just gonna give it a name. Usually I just call it the market. So for example, let's say I'm targeting Germany. So I'm gonna do Germany 001. And 001 essentially is the pack, is the ad format that I'm gonna run for this specific campaign, because I'm gonna show you in a second a lot of that is just done by creative testing different packs into one CBO campaign and letting Facebook decide which pack has the highly likelihood of success. So I'm not gonna do any ABO, I'm not gonna force the spend. I'm just gonna upload different angles and just let Facebook spend based on where he thinks that my creative is gonna perform the most. So I'm gonna scroll down, I'm gonna select my pixel, I'm gonna make sure that as a conversion event, I click purchase. I'm gonna scroll down. And here is very tricky because you obviously want to select your country. So if we do Germany, like I said, we're gonna do Germany right here. You're gonna exclude any other country, and that's super key. You have to go here and switch to original audience option. Okay, this is key, fundamental. So click that original audience, and now essentially you're outside of like the advantage shopping campaign. Even though it's still on, you're technically not outside. Okay, so this is crucial. Make sure that you do that. And if you want, you can also add your exclusion. So here you can, for example, excluding people that already bought from you. So purchase 180 days, right? And then I'm gonna scroll down, and everything else really is gonna stay the same. Even when it comes to language, I leave it as it is. The only moment I might touch this is when I'm targeting a country like Switzerland, for example, that they speak, or Belgium, that they speak two different languages, so Dutch and French, or French and German. And then in that case, I'm just gonna select the audience that I want to obviously target. So the German speaking audience, the French speaking audience, the Dutch speaking audience. But in any other case, I just leave it broad. And then here is where I go inside the ad level. And so when I go inside the ad level, usually the way I do it is that I run flexible ads, and I have three creatives that are very similar one another, but I just change the hooks if it's a video, so the first 3 seconds, or I just change, for example, the headline. So let's say I have an image. Well, in this case, I'm just gonna run the same image, but with three different headlines. So same style, same color, everything, just the headline, so the hook is the one that change. And again, if it's a video, I will just change the three the first 3 seconds of the video, or like the first 5 seconds of the video, and then the remaining 30 seconds, 1 minute of the video, the body of the video is gonna stay the exact same. And so these really allow me to test different hooks and try to understand which one works the better. And usually the way I structure is that I have 3 different ads, 2 different copies. So I'm just gonna put copy number 1 here, copy number 2 right here, and then 2 different headlines, headline number 1 and headline number 2. And like I said, I'm gonna upload 3 creatives. So I'm just gonna go ahead here and upload it, 3 different image. Okay, for example, this one. These are 3 different images with 3 different hooks. So I'm just gonna go ahead and upload them. And so it's the same image, but the only thing that changed really is the text, okay? In this case, it's not cropped correctly, but let's pretend it was, okay? Let's pretend they actually all cropped correctly. Well, the only thing that changed between those 3 images is the actual text, but the overall image stays the same, right? And then I'm gonna obviously place the link and place any UTMs if I have AAA, Hyros, or anything I'm using. So now the next thing I'm gonna do is simply duplicate this specific ad set how many times I want. Let's say, for example, I have 2 more marketing angles I want to test. And then I'm just gonna change the name to like 002. And also here, I'm just gonna call it 002, just so I know. And now I'm gonna place the next round of creatives. So the next 3 creatives, which again, they can be a video or like an image. And the same thing is gonna be done here. So this is gonna be number 3. So I'm just gonna call it number 3. And then inside here, I'm gonna do 003. And once again, I'm gonna place 3 creatives. So round number 3 with like different hooks, different style, essentially, stuff like that. And that's it. I'm just gonna let it run. I'm gonna wait probably 48, 72 hours. I'm gonna see the data and then I'm gonna optimize it. So what this allow me to do is to focus less in the ad account and more in the creative side of things. So actually crafting the video script, crafting the creative, crafting the image, which is really what matters nowadays. And so after 72 hours, when essentially some times had passed and I have some data, all I do really is come inside here and start switching off all the assets that didn't perform. So let's say, for example, 1 and 2 didn't perform, but 3 did. Well, in this case, I'm just gonna switch off 1 and 2 and let 3 essentially running. And the reason why is because, again, we're running flexible ads, meaning that we cannot switch at the ad level because the ad level is combined with all these different like videos that we gave Facebook or like images. And so the only thing we can do is just switching off the asset. And this is making it so much easier because now all of a sudden you just have to go to the asset level, see the results essentially and kill it. And that's it. That's essentially how you can run Facebook ads in 2025. It's extremely simple because everything really comes down to your message, to your creative, to your video script. And in the next video, I'm going to show you exactly how I run video ad script, how I use ChatGPT to do marketing research, how I come up with different hooks and stuff like that. So you guys can also use it for your clients and have an amazing results. All right, this being said, guys, see you in the next one.